Welcome back. So today we're just gonna make the MyCamera and do a little bit of more setting up stuff. So let's go ahead into source, into our main package. Let's make a new class, MyCamera. Sorry, I moved the mic a little bit closer to me, but it's also like where my my keyboard is now, so you're gonna hear my clicking a little bit more. So I do apologize, but whatever. So you're gonna make sure it extends the orthographic camera, just like we did with Pong. So go ahead, click Finish. Make your class. Let's make our first constructor. So public MyCamera super. Okay, so let's go ahead and make our InView method. I hope you guys remember how to do this. I won't go into too much detail about it because I already explained it last time, so or in the Pong tutorial. So I'm just gonna go ahead and type this out. Feel free to pause it when I'm done, so you can also do that. Alright, oops. Again, we're not really going to use this method here, but this is just for copy paste ability. So stop viewport height 10.5f, and then we're going to do what? Right. X. So this is actually this number with this added. Okay. So the bottom, or let's just do, yeah, this is Y now, so the bottom is subtracting for height, and the top is adding. Okay, return in parentheses, and parentheses, and parentheses. Here we go. Parentheses here. Do x is greater than left x, and x is less than right x. And here we got y is less than the top, and y is greater than bottom. So then we're going to do public boolean, taking vector 2 in view, so we're overloading the method. Vector 2, make sure you import that point. Return in view point.x, point.y. Okay, so now we're just going to do get left, get right, get bottom, get top. So public float get left. Now we won't have our resizing capability in the MyCamera class because it will be handled by a different class, which I'll show you the GitHub wiki page on that class in a second, as soon as I just finish this. So yeah, so public float get bottom. So you can just pause it and just write this all out. I know it's kind of a lot, so yeah. Okay, I recommend you pause it. You pause it right now. So this is the code. Go ahead, pause the video, and copy the code. Good. And if you paused it, you're back. If you didn't, this was an awkward couple seconds. Okay, so viewports. Let's just scroll up here. When dealing with different screens, it is often necessary to decide for a certain strategy on how the different screen sizes and aspect ratio should be handled. Camera and stage support different viewport strategies. For example, doing one picking via camera.project. Alright. So this one uses this one uses a different thing than the thing at the top. I'll explain it as we go. So basically we're going to be using a stretch viewport because it's just the easiest one to use, and it's like the best one. You don't have to deal with anything like dealing with screen size or anything. This just does it all for you. So yeah, uses a virtual width and height, which it calls the world width and height, which is what this is in my constants. Okay, world width, world height. So yeah, so we can go ahead and close out of Chrome. Okay, so let's do some. Let's actually get some managers in. So let's start off with our save class. So we're gonna go ahead and make a new package, call it .managers. Now again, if yours did not do this, it probably looked like this right now. That's okay. Make sure you just go into this triangle up here, package presentation, and click hierarchical. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and make a new class, and we're going to call it save. Now this is what will save the high scores. So we're going to implement, actually go, I'm just going to delete this. Make a new, or continue. Okay, make a new class, and in interfaces click add, serializable, and make sure it's from java.io, this one. This is the serializable that you want. Serializable, okay. java.io.serializable, so call it save. And you can go ahead and change this to a star, so it just implements all of Java.io, because there's going to be some exceptions and stuff you're going to want. So, for some reason here I have an empty constructor, so I'll just do that. Alright, so public save. It's going to first take in the high score. Okay. We're going to use that later, and a public save as. Okay. So we're going to make a private integer high score. Now this integer will represent, of course, the high score. And now source, we're going to generate getters and setters and do high score. Make sure it's after high score and all that stuff's good. So here we're just going to set high score to high score. And we're going to do here set high score to s dot get high score. Okay, so now we're going to do the complicated part. So first things first, we have to serialize and deserialize. So basically what that means is when you serialize an object, it converts it to binary and saves it in it converts it to a binary so you can save it into a file. So Java, for just a normal Java, does this on its own, but for libgdx we want to use we want to make our own serializing methods because you have to use libgdx's way to do it to have it work with Android. So private static byte array, because this is binary, serialize. It's going to take an object s, and it's going to throw an exception. So I don't know if I taught you guys about exceptions, but it's pretty much just an error, and you can make your own errors, and you can make a method say this method does this, and it can have this error. And then you have it in a try-catch. I'll explain that also later. So we're going to go ahead and do a byte array output stream b equals new byte array output stream. And we're going to, and that's it. Okay. So now, object output stream out equals new object output stream, and this takes in an object, so R. Now this takes in a byte output stream. Okay. S equals, and we're going to cast it to a save. Cast a save to the object. Well, I'm looking at the wrong thing. Never mind. Out.write object S return b dot 2-byte array. Okay, so basically what this does is, so this is a byte array output stream. So this is what makes the what it goes into binary, and this object output stream simply takes the object and puts it in a stream with this byte array. So it tells it how to do it. So out.write object kind of stages the object, and then this converts it to binary, to a byte array. So now we're gonna, so that's how it goes into the file. Now once that's done, we're gonna make it taken out of the file. So private static object deserialize, so you can just copy this and put deserialize, byte array bytes. So this takes in a byte array from serialize, throws IO exception and class not found exception. So if you try to load a file from a different game with a class that doesn't exist. So byte array input stream b equals byte array. So we're going to do a new byte array input stream. And now we're going to do object input stream in equals new object input stream b. Oh, this also takes in a byte array, so bytes. Okay, so now we're going to return in.read object. Okay, so this class takes in a byte array, and it can analyze it and do whatever you want with it. So it takes in that array, and then this actually converts it from binary into an object, and this can return that object. So it reads the object within this, so it can be used in the game. So what is this warning? Oh, it's not used. Okay. So now we're going to do a public void save s, and it's going to throw an IO exception. All of these pretty much throw IO exceptions. So we're going to make a file handle. File handle is what libgdx uses to handle files. So gdx.local or .files.local, and we want a myConstants.save file. This is that string that we made. In here it's Invaders.sav, and we want an output stream out equals null for now. So now we're going to do a try catch. So catch exception E. So all these exceptions are extensions of this class right here. So when you have try, it does something. So we're going to go ahead and do file.write bytes. And then this is going to be serialize s false. So basically, it's going to try to do this, and if it fails, it does what's in here. And then finally, it does happens after either this or this is finished. So this is why we have a null. So okay, so now file.write bytes. So this writes the bytes into this file that it created with our byte array, and false, it appends it. So if false, the file will be overwritten. So if that were true, it would just keep adding more and more byte arrays, and we don't want that. We just want it to replace what was there. So exception e.print stack trace. This is the standard way to catch an exception. Just stack trace. It gives you the error down in the console, but it doesn't close the program, which is the whole point of a try catch. So if out is not equal to null, we have another try catch. So try catch exception e. It's going to try to close the out, and if not, it's going to e.print stack trace. Yes. Okay. Okay. Not giving it an object. Okay. So alright, cool. So we got that done, which is good. And now we do our loading method. So public static save load throws IO exception and class not found exception. You can just go ahead and copy that, paste it here. So whenever you're deserializing, it's an IO or class not found. Whenever you're serializing, it's just IO. So we're going to go ahead and make a temporary save s equals null. This is going to take in a save. No, it's not. Okay, so file handle. File. We're going to make a file gdx.files.local. My constants save file. S equals, we're going to cast a save to a deserialize. File read bytes, and then we're going to go ahead and return the save that we created. So basically the point is that it makes a save, like a temporary one. It gets a file, reads the byte array from that file that we made here, and then it makes this save. Casts it to a save, and it returns it so that you can use it elsewhere. So now at the top, just go ahead and do add a generated version ID. This is not necessary, but it's always good to have this. I always generate it at the end of making the file. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and go into our game class. We're just going to add this stuff in here. So we're going to need integers. So private static int score and high score. So the reason I make these static integers is because I want to use the scores throughout every game state. So it's good to just have one universal number indicating the score that you can use wherever you want. So I'm also going to make a final static save. This is a default save. Equals new save with the high score being 0. And then finally private static save. We want to import everything from our managers. So just go ahead and do a star there. Okay, so our next step, we have to make load and save methods in here. So we're going to go ahead and make our load method first. So public static void load, just so that we can use it throughout the entire game and use it multiple times without having to rewrite this code over and over. So if gdx.files.local, and we're going to use our save file .exists, so it checks if that file actually exists, and then else we're going to do save equals default save. So we're just going to make this save equal to this default save. So go ahead, try and catch exception e.print stack trace. Save equals save.load. So it sets the current save to the one that's in the file that it loads using our load method right here. And then we're going to go ahead and do public static void save. And then here we're going to do game.save. Let's go ahead and call that. Alright, so game.save, save.set high score, game.highscore. So this just sets the high score in the object to the one from so it sets the high score in the object to the one in game. So we're gonna go ahead and try save equals, oh wait, no, we want save save. Wow, that is a fun method. Catch exception e.print stack trace. So basically this takes the save, it saves it using our save method in here, you know, it makes the file. And then it puts it into and it puts the save in there. So yeah, so when it saves, it creates the file. So when it loads, we will get an error saying that there's no file, which is fine. So now up here, so here we're just going to do score. I'm going to go ahead and do comments handling score. So we're going to do game.score is equal to 0, because you always start out with 0. Game.load. It loads the save file, and then it does game.highscore equals game.save.getHighscore. So it gets the high score from the save, whether it's the default or the one that it had saved already. Yeah, so that should be good. Now if we run it, just refresh this just to make sure. Okay, so if we run it, we should get an error in our console down here. So just kind of wait for it to run. It's okay if it takes a while. Alright. We didn't get an error. That's interesting. Whatever. So if you were to refresh this, there should be a new file here. So I guess there is no error. Okay, whatever. And then you can just go ahead and run it again. And it has this save. If you actually open it, it's a bunch of gibberish, you see, because this is what a byte array looks like. It's just a bunch of binary. So that's our save file. So yeah, just getting that one out of the way. That one's just kind of a small class that we'll include in pretty much all of our games. Now you got to remember, everything that you want to put in here has to be serializable. So integers are serializable. So, but if you want to say put a MyCamera in here, okay, you have to make sure, you have to check Orthographic Camera. So let's go ahead and open that. And this extends camera. And this does not implement serializable. So if it does not implement serializable like this does, then you cannot have it in a class that it saves it in. So I'm sorry about this. You just got to remember, everything has to be serializable if you're just going to use this method where it just takes in an entire object and puts it in there. Okay, so that's that. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.